We're kicking off with AEW, as this week's Dynamite saw the airing of the All-In backstage fight between CM Punk and Jack Perry, a stunt that many fans called a cheap ratings ploy. Others have said that it was in retaliation to Punk's comments about AEW on the MMA Hour podcast, but what did this footage actually do for AEW's ratings? It's been reported that the show scored 819,000 viewers, up from the previous week's 752,000, and the 18 to 49 demo rating also increased from 0.23 to 0.30. On Twitter, Tony Khan reacted to what he called great news and thanked the fans for watching Dynamite and highlighted the 29% increase from week to week. Dynamite saw an increase in viewers, but it had to do some big things to make that happen. And was this ratings increase worth airing the footage to you? Let us know down below. A lot has been said about the AEW All-In backstage footage, with the consensus being that airing the footage damaged AEW's reputation more so than it did to CM Punk. Even former AEW star Shawn Spears fired off a tweet implying that the footage had backfired, and now we know whose call it was for the footage to show. While it was the Young Bucks who presented the footage on Dynamite, PW Torch reports that it wasn't their idea and claimed that they were against the idea. Fightful Select later gave an update saying that the Bucks were okay with the footage being aired and that FTR were told in advance that the footage would be shown. In the end, it was Tony Khan's decision to show the footage, despite what his EVPs wanted, though Khan claimed before Dynamite that he was doing this in the fans' interests. Khan may have chosen to release the footage, but it seems the AEW president had a change of heart, as the official AEW YouTube channel demonstrates. On the channel, AEW has uploaded the segment featuring the Young Bucks, but the footage from All In has been edited out. This video has earned thousands of dislikes, as fans are either disliking for the All In footage being removed, or disliking the idea of releasing the footage in the first place. Not only has the footage in question been edited from the YouTube channel, but on social media, many fans have uploaded the footage only to see these clips taken down. AEW has also been copyright striking clips of the reaction from the live crowd at AEW Dynamite, as AEW all of a sudden doesn't want anyone to see this footage. Ultimately, the footage is out there and that cannot be undone, but given AEW's reaction over the past 24 hours, this is a decision the company appears to be regretting. AEW is seemingly having second thoughts about releasing the footage, but they could have avoided this awkward situation altogether if they'd listened to some advice. On Twitter, a fan referenced AEW copyright striking fans who have shared the footage, saying it's definitely in response to realizing what they've done. This tweet caught the attention of Stephen P. New, the lawyer for CM Punk, who said that, "I tried to warn them yesterday afternoon." New represented Punk following the All Out 2022 Brawl and has been vocal on AEW's handling of the Best in the World. And do you think AEW should have taken his advice? Last week, Ronda Rousey appeared on News Nation and accused Drew Gulak, saying he had pulled at her sweatpants drawstring during her time with WWE. Responding, Gulak said he accidentally touched her drawstring when he went to shake her hand and claimed it was a complete accident that he apologized for at the time. As fans saw on this week's NXT, the No Quarter Catch crew appeared without Gulak by their side, and his name was removed from the Titantron for the group. According to Fightful Select, his removal from this week's episode was due to the Rousey allegations, and it's said he has been pulled from several appearances. Gulak was removed from his seat at the WWE Hall of Fame after a producer noticed he was in attendance and in close proximity to someone close to Rousey's inner circle. It was also noted that there was not to be any mention of Gulak on NXT this week, and it's also been stated that there are no creative plans for Gulak at this time. Right now, Gulak remains with WWE, but things do not look good for him, as with the Janelle Grant lawsuit ongoing, WWE is taking a hardline stance against any allegations. We can only hope that justice plays out, whatever that may be, and we'll continue to follow this unfortunate situation for further updates. On the go-home SmackDown and post-WrestleMania Raw, WWE used much different sets than what fans are used to, which were much smaller than the norm. This new set featured a tunnelway entrance and is compiled of Titantron LED boards, and now this new set is here to stay. According to PW Insider, the setup for the recent SmackDown and Raw will become the standard going forward as part of efforts to streamline production. This new setup also allows for more fans, as the audience can sit behind the entrance area itself, and it's said that WWE is prioritizing packing more fans into arenas. While there could be some exceptions to the new setup, this will be the norm going forward, and the smaller setup will be part of the June 8th SmackDown in Madison Square Garden. Once again, WWE's new era has seen another major change, and what do you think of the new entranceway that'll be used going forward? Let us know in the comments below. It's not just WWE's stages that have changed, as the company has undergone significant shifts backstage, with a major name with the company gone. SE Scoop's Aaron Varble was the first to report that Dan Ventrelle is out as WWE's Executive Vice President of Talent Relations, which was later confirmed by Dave Meltzer. In an email circulated to staff, it was said that Shawn Michaels will now oversee talent development and recruitment, and that staff will report to him. All of the talent department, which includes talent relations, development, and recruiting, will continue to ultimately report to WWE's Chief Content Officer, Triple H. Before joining WWE in 2022 as the head of talent relations, Dan Ventrelle served as the president of the Las Vegas Raiders, and it is unclear why he's no longer with WWE. Ventrelle isn't the only name gone though, as Senior Vice President of Athlete ID and Development, Trent Wilfinger, is also out at WWE, as PW Insider reported. Like Ventrelle, WWE is not given a specific reason for Wilfinger's exit, but WWE is looking very differently, both on screen and in the office, from just a few weeks ago. Over the years, we've seen quite a few notable names leave AEW, from Cody Rhodes to Jade Cargill to Lexis King, and now another big name could be on their way out. SE Scoops reports that reigning FTW champion Hook is interested in exploring his options in free agency once his contract with All Elite Wrestling expires later this year. If Hook is to leave, there will be no shortage of people thinking he could make a name for himself in WWE, and the company may have its eyes on him, as one source in WWE said, "I can see WWE clearly being interested in him." At 24 years old, Hook has already done plenty during his young career in wrestling, and joining another promotion would see him have a new roster to compete against. Would you like to see Hook in WWE, or should he remain in AEW or consider another promotion? Share your thoughts on his situation in the comments down below. If you follow Zelina Vega on social media, you'll know that she's a huge fan of anime and pop culture, which is often blended into the costumes she wears on WWE TV. Several of Vega's costumes, especially at big events, are inspired by her love for cosplay, but this week, the former women's tag team champion found herself in hot water. On social media, a prop maker named Mecha Musum accused Vega of underpaying them for a custom project, saying she'd only given $900 for a $2,500 project. Mech added that Vega promised exposure instead of the full amount, and said that they were put under pressure to finish months of work within a matter of weeks. Mecha even stated that once Vega wore the attire, she returned it and disputed the total amount, and ended up keeping the chancla and headset for practically change. Following on from Mecha's claim, another artist claimed that years ago that they did work for Vega, but they weren't compensated for custom work they did for her. Instead, the artist was given a signed photo and brought backstage to a WWE event, which is admittedly nice, but not how people are supposed to be paid for their services. Amid these claims, Vega herself spoke up, saying she had the right to defend herself, and said that none of her other gear makers have had an issue with her. Vega claimed that for the second artist, she asked if they wanted compensating and they said no, and that the tickets and backstage visit was Vega's way of saying thanks. Sure enough, the messages Vega shared showed the artist saying, "I personally don't really care about payment," and said Vega using their art was "all my heart desires." As for Mecha, Vega promised that a video about that situation is coming, as it's too big of an issue to deal with in a series of tweets. Hopefully this matter can be resolved, but it looks like Vega has the receipts for dealing with the second artist, and we'll have to see if her video explains her side of the story. For years it was believed that the fans had seen the last of CM Punk in WWE, as he walked out of the company on very bad terms back in January 2014. Flash forward 3 years later though, and The Rock had an infamous post-Raw segment in which he decided to give Punk a call in front of the WWE fans. That call went to voicemail, and while The Rock was having some fun at the time with the fans, WWE higher-ups didn't find it funny at all. According to a recent report from PW Insider Elite, WWE officials at the time were not pleased with the incident, given their strained relationship with Punk at the time. In fact, the report suggests that a ringside official was told to ask The Rock to change the direction of his promo, despite The Rock typically being given plenty of freedom. Obviously, things have changed since then, and now Punk and Rock are both with WWE, but the Brahma Bull left WWE officials seething with just one simple phone call in 2017. We have some unfortunate news from R-Truth now, who had an incredible time at WrestleMania and at this week's Raw, but has also faced a serious setback. Taking to Twitter, the Raw Tag Team Champion revealed that last Saturday, the night he and Miz won the titles, his cousin Roscoe suffered a stroke that has left him in the hospital. Truth called Roscoe his biggest supporter and shared some photos with his cousin from the hospital, along with Truth's Raw Tag Team Championship. In the comments, several wrestlers, including Nikki Cross and Thunder Rosa, shared their support, and we'd like to send our own amidst Truth's emotional roller coaster week. More from AEW Dynamite now, as the All In backstage footage was not the only notable segment on this week's show, as there was another featuring Will Ospreay. In his interview with Renee Paquette, Ospreay spoke about the grind and claimed that Triple H only got to the top of WWE by sleeping with Stephanie McMahon. This was in response to the game's comments at WWE World, in which he said some avoid signing with WWE in favor of a lighter schedule, but didn't give any names at the time. Fightful Select reports that Ospreay was not ordered to give this line as some had believed, but rather AEW's creative team and Ospreay came up with the promo together. In fact, the promo was initially meant to go even further and was going to include a reference to CM Punk, given what Punk had said during WrestleMania week. During an interview, Punk laughed off the idea of getting the Mania attendance tattooed on his body, a nod to Ospreay getting the incorrect AEW All-In attendance inked last year. Fightful's report adds that Ospreay considered a reference to Punk, but due to the show already featuring Punk in the All-In footage, this line was deemed overkill and was cut. While Triple H didn't mention Ospreay or AEW by name, the company felt the need to fire back, and we'll have to see what's to come after this very personal line on Dynamite. This was certainly a huge dig at Triple H from Ospreay on this week's Dynamite, but did what the aerial assassin have to say go too far on the show? During Busted Open Radio, Bully Ray said he believes so, and explained that he feels the line was an unnecessary move by AEW to make. He said, "I don't think that was a good move by Ospreay right there. There are certain things in the wrestling business, many things, where we say it's not personal, it's just business. That was one hell of a personal shot." Bully Ray later suggested that the line could be detrimental to Ospreay's career should he find himself a free agent and wanting to join WWE down the line. Not only did Ospreay give the line on Dynamite, but he did so in front of Renee Paquette, somebody who has worked closely with Triple H and Stephanie McMahon in the past. Ultimately, what has been said, but do you think the line went too far on this week's already controversial episode of Dynamite? Share your take in the comments. At AEW Revolution, Sting competed in his final match, and since then, the Icon has not been seen on programming, but that could soon change. In an update from PW Insider, it said that Sting might be seen on TV once again, but in some time, as he could be scheduled for a special appearance down the line. Sting earned his high-profile send-off at Revolution and has earned a relaxing retirement, but it seems like we may not have seen the last of the Stinger on AEW TV. We are looking ahead to SummerSlam now, as this year's event will take place from Cleveland, Ohio, and fans have gotten their first look as to who to expect. In the first poster from the show, Rhea Ripley, Jade Cargill, Bianca Belair, and Cody Rhodes are all featured, as are Cleveland's own Logan Paul and The Miz. One name fans won't see on the poster, though, is Roman Reigns, as it remains to be seen when the former undisputed WWE Universal Champion will be back on TV. Back to WrestleMania, as Stephanie McMahon opened up Night 2 of the event by welcoming fans to the Paul Levesque era in her first appearance for WWE in a year. Backstage, Stephanie had a reunion with some other names fans haven't seen in a while, namely the injured Charlotte Flair and Stephanie's mother Linda McMahon. Linda hasn't been a part of WWE for years, but her name did come up in 2022 when it was reported that herself and Vince had been separated for years. As for Stephanie, Triple H was pleased to welcome her home during the post-show press conference, so we may be seeing much more of Stephanie in this new era. And we're ending with WWE, as the company hasn't shied away from unique marketing as of late, with the 2022 White Rabbit proving to be exceptionally popular. On this week's Raw, a cryptic glitch appeared during a segment with Bronson Reed, and this came after eerie music was played at Raw before the show in Philadelphia went on the air. Now, WWE's Twitter account has added more mystery when a tweet with the word "hello" written over and over again was shared and promptly deleted. This may be linked to the expected return of Uncle Howdy as played by Bo Dallas, or perhaps it's something else in store. Let us know your thoughts down in the comments.